Hi, it's Neil from Mighty Little Green Machine. So this morning I came out and found something I'm not happy about. There's a puddle of hydraulic fluid on the floor underneath the tractor. Now, I don't normally park the tractor in the garage. It goes up on a gravel, so it could have been leaking for a while and they didn't notice. But I definitely don't know what that is. So, in today's video, we're going to try and figure out what's going on. Let's get started. Okay, so we got a pretty good leak. You can see the hoses are soaked. I've actually got dripping off the bottom of the frame. This is the backhoe. So what I'm gonna do is take the backhoe off here in the garage so we can get a look inside there and see what's going on. If it's something easy like a fitting to tighten or something like that, I'll just fix it. If not, it is under warranty. I'll take it to the dealer. But let me get this backhoe off.
Okay, so I've taken the backhoe off the tractor, and it's pretty wet down here. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at in a second. But the problem is that as nice as these cloth hose protectors are, they're like a sponge, so they soak up the fluid. So we're going to have to try and see if I can figure out what's going on. It's definitely down lower. Well, let me. Okay, so if you look, you can see where it's wet all in there. Looks like it's a little wet up there too. Problem, like I said, is the stuff travels like a sponge. It's all collecting down in those two U's down there. So I'm going to check the fittings right here. Let's see if I can get my finger in there. Right here and back there on the side-to-side cylinder to see if they're loose. And I'm also going to look for obvious damage to a hose to make sure I didn't tear something up. And then we'll make a decision. I did just find, though, I didn't realize, I guess I should have read the book, that there's a grease fitting right there. I've never greased that. So, as long as I have it off, I'll grease it. Okay, let's... That's good. Some of these are pretty tight bends. I'm surprised. So it's so hard because I don't know if it's been squirting. Well, I guess let's check these two fittings here. Oh, wait a minute. What's going on with this one? Oh, that's the hose covering. Okay. I did do a little nick here from something, rock or something, who knows, but I don't see anything obviously like torn or broken. Let me get a wrench and we'll see if these fittings are loose. Okay, so these turned out to be 7/8. And if you don't do stuff like this often, this is facing towards me, so I actually have to do lefty tighty. It's not really lefty tighty, but it's because of the way it's facing. That one wasn't really that loose. Let's see if I can get up in here. Really like this just to be loose fitting. It's not though. These aren't loose enough to be shooting that much oil. Oh, that's not 7/8 though either. I don't know if I have a broken hose or what. I gotta find the right size wrench though. Okay, so it was 13/16, but that wasn't the problem. I don't see any other possible fittings back here. I think what I'm going to have to do next is plug it back into the tractor with it running and see if I can see a leak from somewhere. I don't know. Everything is so wet. Okay, so I've taken off the back cover. And if you watched a previous video, it's just two 14 millimeter bolts right here, and then on the back up there is a 13 millimeter, which goes into a J nut. I just took the handles off and slid the cover right off, and I have found something. Right here, I don't know if you can see my finger, there's a plug, and it is very wet. And that, it looks like where my leak's coming from. So I'm going to try and tighten that plug, and then I'm also going to see if the fitting right below it is loose to see what's going on. Okay, so the fittings are 18 millimeter or 19 millimeter, but this plug, I don't know if I can get on straight though. It's like a flathead, but I can't get in there straight. That's not loose at all. Oh no, you know what? I don't know. That's not loose. Problem is going to be I can't get to these without taking other stuff apart, and I really don't want to do that. They don't feel loose though. It's larger. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is back the tractor up and rehook up the hydraulics to see if I can see anything leaking. I'm not going to put the backhoe back on, but let's hook it up. I'd really rather not send this to the dealer if I can avoid it. Come on. There she goes. Okay. And let's wipe this down before I fire it up. There's not much room to work in here for sure. Okay, let's try firing it up, see what happens. Okay, that's our leak. You can actually literally watch it flowing out of this plug. Okay, so in order to get to this, I'm going to remove this line. I don't really want to, but you really can't get to it. Just hoping. Oh. Okay, we're not going to do it that way, because that whole elbow needs to spin. So, let's try it this way. Problem is, I don't know what's going to happen when I don't know which function this is, so I have no idea what's going to happen when I unhook this. I'm just hoping it doesn't drop because it's not on the tractor. Well, that was good. It's not. There. Now, the next question is, how to get this thing out. See what's going on in here. This thing is just leaking like, because every time I think it's done, it leaks some more. The tractor's already low. I checked it, so I'm going to have to get fluid anyway. Oh, looky there. Okay, so that's what that looks like. I'm going to look at this O-ring. I think this O-ring is no good. So, hold on a minute, I'll come back. I can show you this. That O-ring is flat on one side. It's hard to... So it's round there. When you come around here, it looks like it got pinched when it got assembled. So I would say that's been leaking since the day I got it. I'm going to replace the O-ring. I have an assortment and see if that fixes it. Okay, so I've got a little right-angled pick. I'm going to grab this O-ring off of here. I definitely think this O-ring is junk. I definitely think it's been leaking since I got it. It was all shredded. It must have gone in wrong at the factory. Oh, you can see when it got tightened, it got pinched. So I'm gonna find one that fits in my assortment here. I've got a couple of assortments, but hopefully this one has it. That one looks perfect. Let's take you back over here. Sorry for the wooziness. Okay. That was that. Now I'm going to reinstall it and clean up the oil, and then we'll start it again and see if it's still leaking. There it goes with the new oil ring on it. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is put the backhoe back on and run it through its paces and see if it leaks. I'll leave the cover off. And if it doesn't leak, I'll run and get some more hydraulic fluid, top the tractor off, and then I'll just keep an eye on the level, make sure. But I'm pretty confident that was it, because it was literally just kind of flowing out of there. It makes sense that it would have soaked everything over time. So let me do that. I'll get the backhoe on, I'll run it through its paces, and then I'll come back and show you. Okay, so I took it outside. I ran it through its paces, and no more leak. So ended up being an easy fix. Just goes to show you, if you take a little time, you can find it. Now, I could have taken it for warranty. It would have been all covered. But I've still got a lot of things to do with it right now, and I didn't want to have to live without it. So don't get me wrong. If it had been a bad hose, I would have sent it in. I wasn't going to replace a hose on it this early. But the other thing is, the leak looked like it was underneath, when in fact it was above. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, make sure you check out all your options. Don't just assume that because you see the wet hoses underneath there and it looks like that's where it's coming from, that's where it's coming from. If I hadn't pulled this back cover, I never would have found that leaking plug. Like I said, that plug must have been leaking from the day that I brought it home. I just never noticed it. And part of the problem is I don't normally park it in the garage anymore. It parks up on gravel, so I don't even see, and dirt, so I don't even see the leak. But anyway, I'm comfortable that it's fixed. I will keep an eye on the fluid. I'm going to go into the dealer now and get some new fluid for it. Hopefully this helps somebody. Thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video or got anything from it, please hit the like button. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.